Mr. Friedman and Mr. Stalter were the two math teachers that really worked hard to get this program going 2 years ago. So we started this program 2.5 years ago. Sundstrand came to us, Hamilton Sundstrand, Terry Johnson, I don't think he's here yet. Probably still in Puerto Rico or something. But he came to us and he said, we want to do something, we want to give back. And he came to Mr. Gray, and Mr. Gray answered the call, and he said yes, and he started working with the math teachers to get this program going. And so it's because of the math teachers and because of Mr. Gray's support that we have this really good program we're going to talk to you about today. So I'm going to introduce Mr. Gray, and he's going to talk a little bit more about it. Let's give him a round of applause. Mr. Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Egan. I just wanted to take a little bit of time to thank our mentors that come in here. Last year we had about 30 mentors that worked at United Technology Aerospace that would take up their own time to come here and help our students with math. When they were released to come here during the day to work with students, they had to go back to work and make up the time. So they're making a huge commitment to our school and to you, the students, by coming and helping them out. So hopefully some of you will be in the program this year. And do we have any mentors here? I've seen a few of you can stand up. Earl Boyd. These are the people who are making a commitment to you, the students, by taking time out of their work day and coming to work with you, so they're very important. Today, we are lucky to have Mr. Bob Grove from United Technology Aerospace come talk to you. He's from Rockford. He had low math, and he's turned that into a career. He's worked on the space shuttle, he's worked on airplanes, and I think he's going to tell you a little bit about that. So please welcome Mr. Bob Grove.
I want to start out by thanking the faculty and staff here at Lincoln. This wouldn't be possible without them standing up to say, yeah, we can work together. Let's do that. Let's open our school and let people from our company come in and engage with you guys, the students. And so we're really excited about that. Why do math? Right? Why does math matter? When I was a kid, in 1971, NASA launched, the Apollo program had been going on, and we landed on the moon, and we'd done those things, and that was what kind of my parents' generation did. And we said, well, so what next? And in 1971, they launched the Space Shuttle program to replace the Apollo mission to begin to fly astronauts back into space again. And I just want to show you something here. So in 1971, they invented this, right? That's the space shuttle that flew the first time in 1981. I was a sophomore in college. I was sitting in my dorm room watching it fly on TV, and Bob Crippen and John Young, the first two pilots, sat right up there behind those little windows. Two guys in space suits, worried that it was going to crash, flew into space, flew 170 miles high, and flew the space shuttle around in space as just the airplane part of it for about 3 days. And then they flew back down in that rocket and landed in the desert of California. And they picked up that rocket, carried it back to Florida, mounted it to another stack of booster rockets, and refueled the fuel tank and began to reuse the space shuttle. They flew over 100 missions in 5 different aircraft, and it retired last year. There's no longer a space shuttle in service in the United States or anywhere else in the world. Instead, we use Russian-built rockets to get to space and back today because we haven't got a new one. Why don't we have a new one? A new rocket. We need a new rocket. Whose job is it to make a new rocket? It's not mine. It's not his. We invented this one. We're done. It's your turn. You guys got to make the new rockets of the future. You've got to replace the space shuttle. You've got to grow up and understand how to make it fly in a space vacuum. How to make it land after flying through the air at 17,000 miles an hour. How to make it so an astronaut can survive 150 miles high where there's no oxygen, there's no air, there's no pressure. If you went out in space in just the shirt you're wearing today, you'd boil away in minutes. That's not a good thing. You guys got to keep figuring that stuff out. That's why math is important. That's why science is important. That's why what we do here matters. not only retired but broken. We can't use it anymore. So this is the next thing. This is the last thing I worked on. This is a plastic airplane. This is a Lego model, right? I love Legos. I love Legos. My kid loves Legos. He built this. It's his model. I got to play with it today. It's plastic, and you think, well, okay, but real airplanes aren't plastic, right? Well, this is a new airplane that Boeing built that just started to fly passengers around in the last year. And to be frank, the airplane is made out of plastic. It's plastic. It's a giant plastic tube that flies around today. And they do that, why? Because it's lighter weight, right? It's a lightweight airplane, and that makes it easier to get into the air, take off, and land. The engines can be smaller. These little guys, 2 of them on there, can be smaller because it's made out of plastic. And it makes it less expensive to fly. So if a flight goes from Chicago to Los Angeles in an old airplane, in an Airbus or Boeing 767, versus the one that flies this airplane, it'll cost them 20% less to fly that flight. 20% less doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're charging the same price for your tickets, that money becomes profit for an airline. And that makes a difference for that business to succeed and grow. And so, how did we figure out how to make it out of plastic? Engineers. Engineering is the career path that uses math and science and turns those kind of weird things you're learning in math about fractions and sums and long division and algebra. Those things become real things we do every day as we solve the math problems about the shape of the wing or the height of the engine from the ground on landing and takeoff. Those are important math problems that we solve every day. And that's why we're here to help you with math, because once we got here, once we became engineers like these guys, it became obvious to us this stuff is actually used. It's actually used every day. And so we want to help you understand that. Begin to see that it's not just a class I have to go to and it doesn't really matter what I want to be when I grow up. It actually becomes important to what you can do in a career. Engineering is a very productive career. It's a good paying job. It gives you some interesting things. I spent 3 of the last 8 weeks in Moscow. Moscow's in Russia. That's not in Indiana. It's in Russia. Why was I in Russia? They're building airplanes in Russia. And so I get to travel to do my job. I've been to India and China and Japan and Russia and Europe and Seattle and Savannah, Georgia, all over the globe to go travel. So it's not just the math. You also have to think about language and being articulate, being able to write and read, and it widens that stuff out to do more than just the engineering side of it. We're not going to solve all of those issues with you, but what we want to do is come in and help you with our mentors, with our tutors, to help you with your math. Math isn't impossible. Math is possible. We want to help you make it possible. And that's why we're here. And that's why we'll bring volunteers. And these are all volunteers. This team is doing it not because they're told by us to go over there and do it. They're in here because they want to help you succeed. They're really in it for your help. And that's why we're bringing volunteers in. That's why the volunteers are coming in. And so it's important that the school works with us. And you guys have done an exceptionally good job of engaging us effectively in the process of bringing the mentors in. And I want to thank you for that and applaud you for that and keep that coming, because without the faculty in your school gets it. They're opening their doors and letting us come and try to help. And so now that makes it your job too to take the help, to engage with the tutors, engage, do your homework, do your math. Part of the time is talking about math. Part of the time is talking about what's going on. What's an engineering career like? What's it like to go out and work for a living in the jobs that we do at a company like United Technologies? So I want to thank you for the time today. I want to encourage you to engage with your tutors. Be there those days. Be there and work with them. Come with really hard questions, stuff you don't know how to answer. Ask those questions, because that's what we're here to help you with. So thank you, and good luck this year. We'll be back any questions? son built it in about 2 days. It was all he did for 2 days. No Game Boy, no TV, no nothing. He just played with the Legos to build his model. Did what? A what? Oh, the inside is solid on that one. No, there's nothing inside. It doesn't have a camera.
Do you have to pay to go to a restaurant or?
I'm sent there by my company. They actually pay me to go there. It's pretty neat. Way back, way back. Dick, louder.
What are these? I heard that it's the big orange rocket of the shuttle that they wanted to use since it disconnects from the rocket way more than the outer atmosphere of the Earth, but it's smaller ones that can be.
Yeah, they're making a new rocket that replaces it that's much smaller. It doesn't have that big orange tank. That big orange tank is the gas tank. It's full of liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen, and that's what they burn in the main engines of the space shuttle to get them to orbit. The new rockets don't have that. Instead, they're what are called, they're like bottle rockets or the 4th of July fireworks you see. They burn a different kind of fuel to get them to space. Did anybody see, what's the cool thing going on in space right now? What's it called? On where? How far away is Mars? How long would it take you to drive there? You need to figure that out. That's just math. The big orange tank, how long does it take to fuel the big orange tank? It takes them about 6 hours to dump all the liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen in it. Liquid oxygen, think about liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. Take a breath, everybody go. That's oxygen, right? Only it's gaseous oxygen. In that big orange tank, they chill it down, 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 until it actually goes from a gaseous state to a liquid state. They did the hydrogen in with the oxygen. The hydrogen in there is at like 3 degrees above absolute zero, 4 degrees above absolute zero. It's very, 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 very cold. So the reason that orange tank is orange is it's actually covered in insulation to keep all those cold things cold. Question? I got it from colleague Carol, who's our press representative. Question? Yeah, he did. It came as a kit. He got it as a Christmas present one year from his grandmother. Question? Say it again. When or how? How did they get the rover on Mars? Did anybody see any of that? It was way cool. They did a thing we've never done before to land on Mars. First of all, they launched a rocket that had a rover in it, right? And that got them up into space, and they put a big extra rocket engine on it and flew it to Mars. Then they used what are called gravity assists to orbit the Earth, slingshot around the moon, take advantage of the gravity of the sun to get them out to approach Mars. Then they zero in on Mars, and they lock in on Earth orbit or on Mars orbit around it. And then they separated all that stuff up, and they had parachutes. Now, you don't think of space having air that a parachute would work, but there's enough atmosphere on Mars that they had parachutes. They blew open these first small parachutes, then bigger parachutes, then really big parachutes, brought it down close to the planet. Then, because they were worried about it, they actually then had big balloons they filled in the bottom of the ship to be cushions for it, to help slow it down some more. Then they got rid of all that stuff, and they had little rocket engines on it, and they held it in space. They stopped it above the Earth, above the moon, well, I can't get the right point. Above Mars' surface, they stopped it, and then they used a winch, a great big crane, like what's holding up that lamp above you, and they went and lowered the rover down from a rocket about 50 feet off the surface of Mars, lowered it down slowly, like an elevator, onto the surface of Mars. They figured all that out. They had never done that before. And think of the math problems they had trying to do that. Amazing complexity, and it worked perfect. How long does it take to get to Russia? 12 hours. Only 12 hours. I can get, one of the neat things about this airplane, and that you guys will get to experience in your lives, You could get into this airplane at any airport in the world and fly to any other city in the world nonstop. It'll fly from any point on the planet to any other point on the planet nonstop. Because of that, places like China and Russia and India and Europe and Los Angeles and Hawaii, places that we used to consider very, 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 very far away and hard to get to, are now one airplane ride away. So the world is getting smaller. The connectedness between the countries and between businesses is getting smaller, and it's easier to go global. And that's something you're going to grow up with and experience in your lifetimes far more than we have in ours. I think I've probably used up more than my allotment of time. I'm going to turn over to some others. If you have any more questions afterwards, I can hang around and answer those questions, okay?
Now we have a very special guest, Superintendent Dr. Willis, who would like to say a few words to you.
All right, let me ask you a question. That was a fantastic speech. He was really good. Let me ask you a question now. Raise your hand. How many of you want to be an engineer and build stuff like that? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Okay? All right, put them down. And I'm going to ask another question. Right here. In your heart. In your heart. How many of you really, really want to try that? Stand up. You really want to try it in your heart. Okay, sit down. Let me tell you something. You can do it. How old are you right now? 12 years old. He can do it if he wants to. That's the good thing about school. School is here for you to do what you want to do. It can get you from a 12-year-old to rocket scientists that are here to help you. Engineers that build these rockets, these airplanes. But you have to want it. And one of their jobs, in addition to helping you learn math and science, is to help you want to become an engineer, because you need engineers. And when Mr. Girl said these new planes are going to be built by people like you, he was serious. Because you are the next workforce that's going to do this kind of work. These two guys here, Mr. Contreras and Mr. Lewis, they're old. Their careers are set. Although they probably could become an engineer if they wanted to go back to school. But it's up to you to build these next rockets and build these next airplanes. And you know, one of the things that Mr. Girl did mention is, when you're involved in the space industry, there are all kinds of other inventions that come about because of your work. Like microwave ovens, did they come from space industries? All of these things that have yet to be developed, you'll be the ones that do it. That's why we're so proud to be part of this Rockford Public School System. You are so lucky. Take advantage of it. See you on the move.
Thank you, Dr. Willis. And if you don't believe that you can become an engineer and work on airplanes and do it, we have some proof here. Mr. Terry Johnson, can you stand up, please? You may not know this, but Mr. Johnson comes and he mentors kids. He works on the Boeing 787 airplane, and he went to Lincoln Middle School. He's from Rockford, and he went to school here not that long ago, and he turned that into a career building airplanes. So if you ever doubt it, just look at Mr. Johnson and know that you can do it. Hodgson is going to say a few words about the mentoring program.
Good morning. Most of these kids in the green shirts have me as a math teacher, and some of them used to, yes. I'm a math teacher, obviously, because I like math. I love math, right? How many of you love math? Look at that. So there's a lot of motivation for you to want to be good at math, right? And those of you who didn't raise your hands, this is probably something that you want to try out, this mentoring program, okay? Because these mentors, hopefully, and me, will help you to love math the way all of us who raised our hands did, the way all these engineers love math, okay? How do you get to be part of the program, all right? You talk to me, your math teacher, Mr. Johnson, your math teacher, any math teacher that some of you 7th or 8th graders might have, if you're interested in this program, okay? I can tell you, I've seen firsthand how it helps students, okay? They may not be awesome at math after the program, but you want to know what they are? They're way more confident. They have the confidence to give 100% effort, and eventually they are going to excel at math, okay? And you can do that too, all right? So I really want to put in your heads, don't be hesitant. Talk to your math teacher about it if you really feel this is something that sounds good to you, okay? Not only are they going to help you with math, they're going to be someone you can talk to about other things, okay? How it works is the mentor will come to your math class, take you out of that math class for that 50-minute time, and go over any questions that you have. They're going to focus solely on you and your questions, okay? So you have a question in math class, we do our best to get to everybody. They're spending 50 minutes just with you, okay? So you're going to definitely get the one-on-one and the extra push to help you be successful, all right? I don't know if I should take questions. If you have questions, you can see me later, all right? Okay, Devontae? All right. Okay. We have students here too who are going to give you a little insight as to how the program worked for them last year. All right? Okay? Thank you.
So before we introduce the students, you're going to talk for a couple of minutes. They're not going to talk too long. There are students here that were in the program last year, and they're returning, and some of their mentors are here. The students that were in the program last year, could you stand up please now? Give them a round of applause. These guys are all and if you know any of these students, they're 7th and 8th graders now. They can tell you more about the program if you see them later on in the hall or something. They really gained a lot from it. All right, we're going to start off with 2 8th graders that were 7th graders last year. Erica and Samantha are going to talk to you about the program.
Hi, I'm Erica and this is Sam, and last year we were in the sponsorship program. Our mentor was Gerald, and he was like a little bit. I just meant that. Okay, well, in the beginning of 7th grade, I didn't like math at all, okay? And then when I got the chance to be in sponsorship, I took it because I wanted to try something new. Well, all I can say is at the end, I really liked math, and I actually passed. In 6th grade, we both had this passion, and in 7th grade, we both had Mr. Stalter, and this year we were lucky enough again to have him. And last year, sponsorship helped improve us in math like a lot. Like we improved so much with our test scores and everything. Everything got like easier to understand. For those of you who might get the chance to participate in this. If I were you, if you were offered it, take the chance because it really helps you out.
Thank you, girls. Remember, those are 8th grade girls, and they're getting ready for high school. All right, now we're going to hear from 2 7th graders, Rebecca and Heather. Come on up here.
I'm Heather. I'm Rebecca. Last year, we were thankful for being picked for the Sunshine Mentor program. I would like to thank our math tutor for being an awesome help to us both. I thank you for taking time, and teaching us about math. I would like to thank Ms. Ashton for being a wonderful help, supportive, and a great math teacher. I love the state and feel it's important to listen to your teachers and really work on your math. Thanks.
Okay, everyone, would you stand up? This is the math teacher. Again, with it.
All right, thank you for being such a great audience. I just want to tell you what a great opportunity and how exciting this is for you. We're the only school in the district, we're the only school in town that has this opportunity. We have a lot of support from United Technologies Aerospace, from our district. Superintendent here, excited about the program. The school board member, Mr. Scrivano, is here, excited about the program. So you're very lucky to be part of this. And if you're chosen to be in the program, please take full advantage of it. Thank you for being a great audience. And can we have one more round of applause for our speakers?